This is pretty unbelievable. And we bring you a lot of unbelievable stories. This one, cop, probation after preying on a minor. Let me give you the details on this. Now former, Denver Police Sergeant Timothy Hyatt, 45, pleaded guilty to 2 charges after being accused of propositioning someone he thought was a 14-year-old girl in a series of online exchanges. Today, a judge sentenced Hyatt to 4 years of sex offender intensive supervised probation for charges of attempted sexual assault on a child, a felony, and attempted unlawful sexual conduct, a misdemeanor. He will be required to register as a sex offender and is not allowed to possess firearms. If he successfully completes probation, though, this is this right here. The case will be wiped off his record. This guy attempted sexual assault on a child, wiped off his record if he just goes through the program. Hyatt had originally been charged with internet luring of a child, a higher level crime than the 2 counts he admitted to in a deal with prosecutors. Internet luring of a child is a class 4 felony in Colorado. That from 9 News. The backstory, the investigation began February 25th, 2022, when a sheriff's investigator went online posing as a girl named Lindsay and was contacted by someone with the username Hot Guy for Fun 2021, who said he was Tim in Colorado, according to court documents. Over a series of exchanges, Tim described specific sex acts he wanted to engage in with the girl, and the 2 agreed to meet at a park in Lakewood a few weeks later. The man didn't show up, and the detective noted that his account on a social media site had been deleted. At that point, the detective began the process of obtaining records from social media and wireless companies and concluded that Tim was in fact Hyatt. In a phone call August 10th, 2022, the detective told Hyatt that she wanted to talk to him about his communications with a 14-year-old girl. Hyatt said, quote, "I got carried away. There's no excuse for it." That's according to court documents. Hyatt also said he was bored and that I know that I shouldn't have gotten on those chat sites. Again, referenced in the documents. He turned himself in the next day, was arrested, charged. Denver Police Department suspended him without pay. Hyatt is no longer able to work as a police officer in the state. No, he's probably not gonna stay. Once he's finished with his program and hopes, and I believe is the intent, to wipe the records clean, he's probably gonna leave the state and do perhaps his dirt elsewhere. What do you make of this deal, Ben?
Yeah, I mean, this is so infuriating because like everything about our system is flipped on its head, right? If he is a police officer, I mean, if anybody is going to get the maximum sentence for anything, literally just for any crime in general, like the more power you have, the more the law should apply to you and the more extreme the penalties should be. That is like how a morally decent society should function, is that the more power you have, the more scrutiny you should be facing from the public and the more intense pressure you should be facing in order to like justify your actions and things like that. And so in a case like this, to see somebody like getting off with like probation, it's just disgusting. And like, once again, this is another one of those cases where in a lot of ways, this man is the outlier. The truth of the matter is, there are police officers who literally threaten to like arrest people, or even people who are arrested are sexually assaulting people in like prisons and jails, right? Like, especially like correctional officers. This is a known problem across the entire United States of America. And so it is a rare instance that this person is being caught. And when he's caught, then he's being treated with leniency. But the truth of the matter is, this is rampant across the United States. And like, and that's one of those things that's just so infuriating, because there's so many like other news outlets that aren't TYT that want to pretend that, oh no, these police officers, they're all fine and decent people. And this couldn't be happening because of course we can't trust marginalized people when they talk about their experiences, because why don't they file a police report? I don't know. Why don't people file more police reports against police officers like that are like sexually assaulting them? That's a real big mystery. I don't know. And it's just deeply infuriating, everything about this story, that we just treat people like this with so much leniency.
Yeah, and in this case, detective posing as a 14-year-old, but that was the intent, right? And you're exactly right. This is a sergeant we're talking about here who chose law enforcement as a career to serve, protect, uphold the rule of law. And here we go again. I am also been concerned with the coziness. This is a deal. Okay, this is a sweet deal that I wouldn't have got, you wouldn't have got. The coziness between prosecutors and police and the bending over backwards here, it seems, to protect this former sergeant, who, by the way, can go to another state, it seems. This is my reading of it. And once this is over and they're cleared to leave and resume a career, which perhaps put him closer to doing dirt against children. The coziness, though, between prosecutors and police, do you think that was a factor here?
I mean, I think I can't see how it wouldn't be a factor. Like, the unfortunate reality is prosecutors spend a ridiculous amount of time with police officers and honestly view themselves as police officers in a lot of ways. I mean, how many DAs refer to themselves as like the top cop? Right? The unfortunate reality is there's this constant link when in actuality, they should be completely separated from each other, right? Prosecutors and police officers should really have no involvement with each other. And when you add that on top of the fact that like prosecutors just have way more money and influence within our system than like public defenders do, you get a system that is so deeply imbalanced where it really is just the police and prosecutors versus every person in the world, basically. And so it's really infuriating to see that relationship continuing to exist throughout the United States when it really shouldn't. And a functioning justice system would not allow any type of like working relationship between prosecutors and police officers.
Yeah. And when you reference what this country is, there's a crusade against educating people and helping people. And that includes children, understand themselves, their bodies, their boundaries. It's a sick problem. Our society has a real sickness that has to be contended with.